Imagine you're in the very north of China, close to the border with Siberia and all forested land until about 70 years ago, 80 years ago, more or less virgin territory. And because of intensive human logging activities, by the time I first encountered this place, 2001, 2002, the forest is not how you imagine it. It's a forest that's bleeding. So the story I just recounted in the forest, that's also happening in the ocean. When we take it to the industrial age with globalization, the entire world under the mainstream has become this enormous biosphere where we continue to take and continue to destroy nature without seemingly any consequences. As we know today, the consequences are very severe.
Wah Kwong is a third-generation family-owned shipping business based in Hong Kong with an international outlook. Wah Kwong owns shipping assets in the bulk carrier, tankers and gas carrier sectors, and increasingly has a role to play in linking the Asian market with the international shipping market.
It was set up actually by my grandfather, T.Y. Chow. He came from China in the 1950s to Hong Kong and developed a shipping company from there. And it's now evolving from a ship owning business to a ship management business to a chartering business.
Hing came on board as a non-exec director in 2015, and then he took over as chairman in 2019, and that's when I took over my current role as managing director. And from the London office, we oversee our growth into the European and international market.
I came into my career in 2001, and that's 2 years after the Erica incident. So we're really starting to see that over 100 years after the birth of the Industrial Revolution, that human activities are destroying nature. Just over 20 years ago, as a young man coming out of university, launching myself into my first career, if you like, everywhere I turn around and cast my eyes, what I see is this hurtful imprint of human activities on nature. One of the key lessons I have learned in the time that I've spent with the nomadic communities is the sense that human beings live in the context of nature. We are part of nature, and nature operates as a system. Ecosystems are connected, habitats are connected, and therefore, if we are to change something, we have to change everything all at once. We transport goods. 90% of cargoes in the world are borne by seaborne transportation, but we are merely the connector. If the ways in which the ships are built, the cargoes are being manufactured, upstream and downstream are not done right, shipping, we are powerless actually to change anything. And therefore, the way in which the industry must tackle decarbonization is that we have to work very closely across the supply chain, upstream and downstream, across the entire industrial production and transportation process. One of the ways in which carbon credits could be generated is by restoring marine life, particularly restoring coral reefs. By doing that, even though it's not directly related to shipping behavior, we restore something that is so much more fundamental. That's the health of the ocean. And we understand that most of the CO2 emitted today are absorbed by the ocean. If the ocean dies, there's no hope for humanity. When I came back into the company, the best gift the family could have given me is to put me on this journey to understand how we get to the present. And by understanding the past, we know how to navigate towards the future.
We have a long history of building new ships. The shipbuilding centers of the world have evolved over 3 generations, and we've evolved with that. In recent years, most of our new building activity has been in China. That being from a Hong Kong company, our roots, historical roots, are very deep within China. And we are traditionally involved in the shipping of energy. We can't get away from the fact that the energy transition is going to have a huge impact, not just on the fuel that we burn to move our ships, but on the cargo that we carry. And so for us as a business, we have to think about how do we invest in the next generation of ships, what the cargo of the future will be, as much as what the ships of the future will look like. Earlier this year, we opened an office in Genoa. We acquired a small technical management company. I think the flow is both east and west and east. And by that I mean there are a huge number of ship owners and operators within the European sector who are needing to understand where they can get new vessels, where they can retrofit old vessels to keep up with the regulations.
We've taken delivery of new ships. We've worked with the naval architects and the shipyards to come up with an innovative design. The idea is that it has digital tools on board, and it also is dual fuel ready, which means that whenever a second dual fuel comes into play, it will be ready to be retrofitted. Under our technical committee, we evaluate new marine technologies. We're constantly assessing energy-saving devices and how we can install those on board our new buildings and also on board our existing fleet through retrofitting. Our aim is obviously to make our ships as efficient as possible.
When it comes to the social dimension of our ESG policies, Wah Kwong has a strong focus on education and the development of human talents. I have spoken about the new technologies, the new operational measures that we're taking to improve our fleet performance. All of this, despite advances in smart technology, graduating towards automation, we still require seafarers and people working both at sea and on land to operate such systems. And if people do not embrace technology, there's no way that these breakthroughs can be made.
We have a strong mentorship culture on board. Having worked ashore for nearly 20 years now, I not only review with my team the technologies related to the decarbonization and the digitalization, but more importantly, the people development, both at sea and ashore, to be ready for such changes.
One of the things that we have focused on is working very closely with university and with other shipping companies to come up with a new method of maritime education where business training and technical training are combined. Because with every investment we make, there are risks, substantial risks. Assets, investment, financial risk, but also the risk to human lives.
The ISM code is an international standard for the safety management and operation of ships and for pollution prevention. It was developed to ensure the safety of crew, ship, and the environmental by requiring that shipping companies operate according to a standard set of safety practices.
How do we take care of the people who work for us, the seafarers? How do we make sure that they feel protected and they have the best possible support from us as owners? That is a very important part of us as a shipping company.
Passing on the principles and practices of sustainability at sea to the next generation is crucial. I always encourage senior management, including myself, to have face time with our crew to look after their well-being by regular vessel visits and attending crew training conferences. I would like to see our mentorship and care for crew culture to continue to the next generation.
This is the second dawn, the second industrial revolution, if you like. And it's probably the only chance we have as humankind to do this right.